Recently I posted this video on screen now, where I go over how you can improve your guys' KD, and I mentioned in the video if you guys wanted me to tell you guys what the best solo queue legends are. You ask and you shall receive, so here we go. Hey, how's it going? I hope you're having a fantastic day. Welcome back to the channel. As I just said, today we were going over the best legends to be playing if you are solo queuing within Apex Legends. If you're new here, my name is Dominic, and if you want to know how you guys can get better at Apex Legends, then welcome to the channel. I post every other day to help you guys improve and become an overall better player. Now, if you've never seen a tier list before, we do many on this channel, and I'll have a playlist linked in the description down below if you want to see them all. But if you're new here, we start off at C tier, which is the worst tier, and work our way up to S tier, which is the best. Now, I always start off in C tier when doing Legends tier list, because I truly believe no legend is bad. Now, every single time I do a legend tier list, I always get told that their legend is the best if they're played in the best hands. And yes, that's true, but that's true for every single legend. That's why we're going over the base legend and how their base kit can make them be the best. Don't forget that this video also has chapters down below, so you can skip to see where your legend is. So, starting us off in C tier, we have Gibby, we have Caustic, and Watson. So the best legends for solo queuing will obviously be the ones with the movement, and with these legends just have a limited movement. The only thing that may be good with Caustic and Gibby for solo queuing is that they both have the fortified passive ability, which allows them to take more damage than other legends. Watson's also down here as because she's a team-based character. Her fences don't really work if you're playing her on your own without any teammates. That's why all these three legends are down in C tier, because they're all team-based legends. For solo queuing, you want someone who can work as a team and on their own in the same time. And all three of the legends are all based with their team, locking down different areas. I mean, they're all bunker down legends. They're all there to take hold of a building. And when you're solo queuing, you just don't really want to do this. I'd say out of these three legends that Gibby is the best one to be solo queuing with. And that's because one, he has the fortified where he takes less damage than other legends. And as well as that, he has his dome which can help him and his team. But that's about it for him. So moving us up to B tier now, we now have Revenant, Mirage, Rampart, Fuse, Crypto, and Seer. Now, as we were talking about the legends that bunker down, Rampart comes under that list. But for me, Rampart is a better legend to be solo queuing than, let's say, a Caustic or a Watson. Her barriers can actually be really effective, and her minigun can just absolute shred. Not only this, when using an LMG, Rampart can have more ammo and reload quicker. So all of these things help towards solo queuing, and for me, she's a half decent legend to be playing if you're solo queuing. Now let's talk about Crypto and Seer. Both of these legends are okay at solo queuing, but they're both designed to get info for your teammates. They're not really designed to be on the front line, getting the kills, getting the downs. They're there to help your teammates know the location and where people are going to be of the enemy teams. So they're there to help your teammates. But if you're solo queuing, it's going to be a lot harder if you're in a 1v3 situation to actually achieve something if you're playing these two legends. Again, if you're the best of the best, then these legends are going to be absolutely fine. But as they're legends on their kit, these two legends will not be the best legends to be running if you're solo queuing. Now let's quickly talk about Fuse, Mirage, and Revenant. Now out of these three, I would say that probably Revenant is the best legend to be playing if you're solo queuing. Mirage is actually alright to solo queue. The only thing I would say about him is that when you're solo queuing, his abilities don't really allow you to go on the aggressive or do the absolute opposite and help to easily retreat. Yeah, you have the whole thing as element of surprise when you're bamboozling the enemy team, but when you're solo queuing, this just isn't going to be as effective. He is more of a solo legend than he is a team-based legend. That's what put him higher on the tier list for me than other tier lists, but overall there are just some better legends that are actually going to be better than him to solo queue. Revenant, I'd say, is actually alright in solo queuing. He has his totem, which allows him and his team to have a second life. And if you are stuck in like a 1v3, 1v2 situation, then his tactical, which is his silence, which actually stops the enemy team from using their abilities for a couple of seconds, can actually be a really big help. I'd say Revenant is probably one of the first legends on this tier list up to now, which help him and his team very effectively, which allows him to be a pretty decent legend to be solo queuing with. Fuse is okay. The only thing with Fuse that I'd say is actually decent for him solo queuing would be his tactical. This allows for area of denial, which can help to actually attack a team or do the absolute opposite and retreat. But in terms of actually being very aggressive or having something to rely on like a Revenant does with his totem, he's just not as good. For me, he's an alright legend to be solo queuing with, but there are just some betters. Which takes me up to A tier, which are the best legends to be playing if you're solo queuing in Apex Legends Season 12. And these consist of Bloodhound, Bangalore, Mad Maggie, Loba, Lifeline, and Ash. Now, the first person I actually want to talk about within the A tier is actually the brand new legend, Mad Maggie. Now, up to now, Mad Maggie is actually my new main of this season, and I'm having an absolute blast with it. Most of the time, I actually have a team to play with, but I've done a little bit of solo queuing with her, and I can strongly say that she is very, very good. Her ultimate allows you to get into fights and out of fights very, very quickly. Not only this, your teammates can use the speed pads as well, so that helps you and your team at the same time. Her drill can separate the enemy team really, really quickly. It can block access to certain areas too. And if you're solo queuing and don't have the communication with your team, this can actually be really, really good. It could be really, really good and really, really nice to actually separate the team and kind of leave one of the enemies on the enemy team solo so you can focus that one person. It's a good way of splitting the team up and focusing each individual person, and that's all done by her drill. I'd say Mad Maggie's kit is really, really strong if you're solo queuing. It's 10 times better if you're working with a team, if you have that communication. But if you're solo queuing, then she's going to be an absolute blast to play, and she's actually going to help you a lot. Lifeline, I think, is actually an underrated legend to be playing when solo queuing. You have constant heals with her, and that's pretty huge. Especially when solo queuing, you are always wanting loot, you're always wanting them heals. Not only with her constant heal drone, you also get access to the extended supply bins too, to get yourself even more heals. I mean, when you're solo queuing, you don't have the communications with your team, you kind of got to fight you on your own. You got to find the loot on your own. It's kind of like 3 people just playing a solo game mode. Being Lifeline can actually be a really, really big help. Not only this, her ultimate always gives you upgraded gear that you need that you might not have even noticed. Lifeline can help you and she can help her team. The constant reses that her drone can do and the constant heals that her drone can do. She's a really, really good legend to be playing if you don't have a team. The same kinda applies to Loba. Loba allows you to get in and out of fights decently quickly. Not only this, you can throw her black market down for that missing loot that you didn't find. Or if you're mid-fight and you don't have enough ammo, you can throw her ultimate down and get the surrounding ammo. Again, she can help her and her team at the same time. This is huge when it comes to solo queuing, because if you're really trying to get that win, you still want to work as a team, but like I said, if you're solo queuing, you're not really going to have that communication. So every little helps, and playing Loba can really, really help. Bloodhound is really, really good. He has constant scans. It's not like a crypto where it's used to info your whole team and you're kind of laid back. Bloodhound, you can scan, you find the enemy, it helps you and your team, and you push in. His ultimate is really, really good. You get an FOV boost and you get a speed boost too. This is great for tracking down enemies, getting into fights really quickly, or just escaping. As I said at the very beginning of this video, if you watch my latest video, then you would have seen that one of my most important things to remember when you're playing Apex is that you don't have to commit. So playing someone like Bloodhound can get you in and out of the fight very, very quickly. Bangalore is a decent legend to be playing when solo queuing. She has constant smokes to either defend her and her team from the eye line of the enemy team, so she can help her team with the smokes to allow them to be hidden from enemy teams. She can smoke the enemy team to make them blind, which helps you and your team escape. She has her double time, which is her passive, which allows her to run 2 times quicker when she's getting shot at, which helps her. And her ultimate helps her and her team getting out of sticky situations, or 2 helps her and her team push the enemy team, which is how her ultimate should have been used anyway. Ash was kind of a tricky one for me. She's kind of like Wraith in the sense that she has her portal. For that case, she would be in S tier, but her portal isn't as good as Wraith's, which puts her down in A. Her portal can get her into the fight, but not out, or the other way around. Can get her out of the fight, but not in. If you use her ultimate to get into the fight, you don't have a plan B. There's no way of getting back unless you just start running. Her snare allows the enemy team to be trapped, and I guess that's alright, but it's 10 times better if you're working with a team and have that communication. You can let your team know that you've trapped the enemy so you can all focus that one person and get a quick knock. But if you're solo queuing, it may be a little bit harder to get this communication across. Moving on to S tier now, and these are the best legends in my opinion to be using if you're solo queuing in Apex Legends Season 12. And these are Octane, Valkyrie, Horizon, Pathfinder and Wraith. Now as I said, as Ashe, with her portal you can go into a fight and not out, or out of the fight and not in. With Wraith, this is the total opposite. You can go in and out of the fight at the same time. She helps her team get from point A to point B, also allows down people to get from point A to point B too, which is actually a pretty strong thing to remember when solo queuing, because you actually do want to start helping your team, even if they're not the best, but it's still going to help towards your win. So her ultimate is all team based, which is great when solo queuing, but her tactical is solo based, which is also great when solo queuing. You want someone with the abilities who can help your team and help yourself at the same time. So Wraith, solo queuing, top of the list. She's very good. Pathfinder, Valk, they both come under the same thing as Wraith. Their ultimate allows their teammate to get from point A to point B. Pathfinder's tactical allows him to get from point A to point B. Gets him in a team in and out of the fight. His tactical gets him in or out of the fight. Valk, her ultimate allows her and her team to get from point A to point B. And her tactical, kinda like Maggie's drill, is like an area of denial. Can split teams apart and allow you to focus one person at a time. Now Octane, if you watch this video on screen now, you would have seen, in my personal opinion, that Octane is the best movement legend in the game. Now his ultimate comes under the same thing as Pathfinder, Valk and Wraith, in the sense that it gets your team from point A to point B. His ultimate also allows your teammates to do movement tech such as tap strafing, and his tactical is really good. It's a constant stim which allows you to run so much quicker, which can get you in and out of the fight really quickly. Not only this, you don't have to carry as many meds, as he has a slow regen of health over time. So his ultimate gets him and his team point A to point B. His tactical helps him, and it helps him a lot more than other tacticals do, as it's a full speed boost, which is really good for rotating as well as getting in and out of fights. Now the only person we haven't talked about yet is Horizon. The ultimate does not allow you and your team to get from point A to point B. It is a black hole. It sucks the surrounding enemy teams in there, which is actually really good for the team. It gets the whole enemy in one spot, which you can all focus at the same time. You don't really need communication for your teammates to recognize that they should be throwing everything that they have into that black hole. They should be throwing nades, they should be throwing ultimates, they should be throwing everything in there to get the kill. You don't need much communication from that. You only need really a little bit of common sense. Her tactical, on the other end, allows your teammates to get height. This was something that we haven't really seen since she's come out. She's the only legend that can really do this, but it allows her and her whole team to get height. Aim is 100% accurate when you go up and you're at the top of the gravity lift, and it also pushes you out forward when you get to the very top, or if you hang around after a couple seconds, then you get thrown out forward. Not only this, Horizon's passive is really good, where she basically has moon boots. That's the most simplest way to put it. She has no gravity, so when she lands on the floor, you don't get that massive movement delay where you're kind of stunned when you first hit the ground. She just happily slides. This is even better when you're on the gravity lift, and even on some things across maps, like a grav cannon on Stormpoint. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. If you found this video helpful and or entertaining in any way, shape or form, then make sure to go down below and leave a like. While actually down there, you might as well subscribe to be entered into the next subscriber shoutout. Thank you guys so much for your support recently. So close to 1.3k subs, which is absolutely insane. We've been getting a lot of you guys new to the family, so welcome, and once you've joined, you might as well join the community Discord down in the description too. So that's gonna call it today's video. As always, it's been my pleasure, and until next time, keep dominating legends.